Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Manon, you hear? Okay, great.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me share my screen. Thank you. So, share screen. There you go. Should be able to see the title of my presentation. Yeah, good afternoon for those of you that are based in Europe, and good morning to those in the US. My name is Gianluca. I work as data science consultant at the Small Arms Survey. This is a research and implementation center located in Geneva, Switzerland. Alongside, we have my colleague, Manon Blancafort, and we'll be discussing the use of open source intelligence for promoting peace. Our focus will be mostly on our social media monitoring effort, where we try to track proliferation of small arms and light weapons in Afghanistan. So the outline of my presentation, first, in the next 15 minutes, we'll first introduce the issue of small arm proliferation in Afghanistan. Then I'll pass to the kind of insight we can get from open source intelligence. And in doing so, I will focus on social media data and social media monitoring, specifically on the analysis and visualization of this data set. Then I will talk about the Afghanistan social small arms and light weapon social media dashboard, and I will conclude with a discussion of the risks and benefits of leveraging this kind of open source intelligence technique for peace. Yeah, before I start, I want to apologize. All my slides are really text heavy, but I prefer to have everything in there in case I need to share it afterwards. And if you're interested in a copy of my presentation, I can send it to you. So let's start with the issue of small arms proliferation in Afghanistan. Yeah, we're over 2 years after the US-led coalition withdrawal of Afghanistan and the consequent Taliban takeover. Now the country is facing multiple security crises, and one of these is the proliferation of military materiel that has been left by the coalition. This is of particular concern because it fills some sort of vicious circle of insecurity leading to further insecurity in the region. A main issue that we have doing research in small arms and light weapons is that the data sources are scarce and often we cannot verify them. As the name of my organization suggests, the Small Arms Survey has a long-standing experience in carrying out nationwide, countrywide surveys in the domain of small arms. But because of the current situation, this kind of large-scale field surveys are difficult or impossible in some region, given the current security situation. For this reason, we started looking into ways to complement the survey data we managed to collect still in some region, but to try and build the most accurate picture possible at the country level. In doing so, we looked into open source intelligence that allows to supplement information gathered on the field using publicly available data sources. Here on the right, you can see a post on social media showing, ISIS fighters in the Khorasan province. And this is recent. This is from August 2023. Yeah, some social media platforms, accounts and groups and channels provide new insight into small arms and light weapons proliferation. And having some experience ourselves in looking into this platform, we could select a few that I will talk about later. So what we decided doing is to use a social media monitoring to leveraging a continuous stream of data from social media to try and reveal unexpected patterns or to confirm some observation we have from field surveys. Now, about social media data analysis and visualization, I don't want to complain, But monitoring social media is technically complex as it has to be adjusted for each platform unique system. On the right, you have a picture with the logos of the most common social media platform. We started monitoring some of them, namely Telegram, but we decided finally to focus on Twitter because we had really a wealth of information available to us. I'll come back to it later. So besides technical challenges, there are some conceptual challenges on how to make sense of this big amount of data. And we decided to go for combining natural language processing, that is a computational way to deal with text, and combining it with data visualization, because we think that is key to extracting and interpreting information from social media. Having a data scraping, social media data scraping tool in the back end, we built an interactive data visualization dashboard that I'm really a big fan of, because it allows to offering in-depth insight that are also personalized. Now, I'll jump into the contents, the main contents of my presentation, that is the Afghanistan Small Arms and Light Weapons Social Media Dashboard. This is part of a larger project named Contributing to Preventing Arms Proliferation from Within and to Afghanistan. This project is funded by the German Federal Foreign Office and is running from 2022 until 2025. Now you can see on the right the landing page of the dashboard. And what we are doing with this dashboard is extracting, analyzing, and visualize social media data gathered daily from 21 selected Twitter accounts posting about small arms and light weapons starting from 2021. 2021 was for us the starting point. We started to collect data retrospectively, and it was important to start then because this is when the Taliban took over Afghanistan. Yes, the results are presented in an interactive data dashboard, and at the moment, it's accessible to a network of selected partners that are active in small and light weapons counter-proliferation activities in the country, but also in the region. Let me start with, I decided to show screenshots of the social media dashboard just because in general, I tend to start exploring patterns, and this takes me a lot of time to show. So the first landing page is actually the login page. And this is not in itself very interesting. I just put it as a reminder, mentioning that, yes, the platform is currently in an advanced testing phase, and it's close to a circle of project partners that are currently testing and giving us their feedback. We will eventually release this dashboard publicly towards the end of the year. And if you're keen to test it before the release, just get in touch. I will show my email at the end of the presentation. Oops, sorry. Something happened. Next, so the dashboard has three main sections. The first one is querying, the second is visualizing, and the third one is summarizing. You can see it on the top right of the screen. So what we are doing with this querying part is to present all the tweets we collected starting from January 2021 from these 21 accounts. And we're talking about 70,000 tweets in a tabular form. So as you can see in these tables, on the left-hand side, you have the account name, the date when the tweet was posted, the text of the tweet in the original language, and translated in English. You also have the hashtags. In this case, you cannot see them because they're unknown. But what is more interesting for us, especially for a search and querying purpose, is what you have on the right side. So you have the number of mention of place names located in Afghanistan or the neighboring region. The number of mention of specific weapon times. We have a collection of over 1,500 types of weapons, and we are trying to match them with the contents of the tweet. We also have gender-related keywords, where we thought it would be interesting to explore armed violence and weapon proliferation related to gender issues. On the very end, on the right, you have the number of media that are go together with the tweet. This is especially interesting for researchers that are interested in corroborating their findings with pictures or any sort of visuals, especially to recognize the kind of weapon mentioned in the tweet. As you can see, you can, on the left, I just typed Afghan. There is a text search. So you are searching for Afghanistan, you start typing and it reduces the number of tweets that are shown in the table. You can also download the contents of the tweet in a tabular form. So as you can see, the selected row, but also together with the picture and the video in the original standalone format. Another feature is being able to open. So you select a row and you click open and will open the post on Twitter, on X, and save it. And this saving part is especially interesting for researchers, part of our small pool of testers, because everyone can build this sort of knowledge base and being able to go back to it when they log in again. The next section is about visualizing tweets. And this is something it took us a long time to figure out how to extract the maximum amount of information possible from text and in part from pictures and video. What we're doing here is putting essentially tweets on a map based on the matching keywords or place names in the text with points where we have the geographic location. As you can see, there are the dots with numbers indicates how many tweets are in this area. When you zoom in, you're able to access the individual dots. Usually you're at the level of a village, a city, or a town. And you can see the contents of the tweet if you click on the dots together with the picture. Also, in this case, you can filter, you can show the tweets you saved. So referring back to the querying part, you can see the tweets mentioning a weapon and a picture. We thought about highlighting the picture feature because some of our researchers are really keen to explore the kind of weapons and if they find any markings or anything that can enable tracking the origin. There are other sections in the visualize part that I will not show you now, just for the sake of time. I will jump into the summarizing part, where we mostly focus on small arms, light weapon, on that model, on the type of weapon. And here you can see first we have a time series where you can see the mention of specific types of weapon over time. You can see the proportion of weapons, and here I have to mention that I am only showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and you can see them above, but you can select others if you're interested. There is a map where you can see where these types of weapons are mentioned, highlighting potential hotspots of proliferation, and also the association in the tweet or in the post of a specific type of weapon with a state or non-state actor. Here I took the example of ISIS, where in 67 tweets or posts, they talk about AKM rifles together. Quickly at last part, what did we learn from this dashboard exercise and what can be transferred into the general use of open source intelligence for peace? First thing first, like the benefits, we see a lot of benefits in social media monitoring that can provide real-time data and information about difficult to reach areas in countries where conflicts are active. Here, there is an example on the right where you can see a tweet documenting the smuggling of M16 between Afghanistan and Pakistan. But we're also aware of risks. So social media data, and sorry, I'm laughing, but it's kind of obvious nowadays, is not always accurate or especially reliable, and information can be manipulated or fabricated. This is one of our main concern, and this is why we selected to monitor 20 accounts where we are reasonably confident about the quality of the contents being posted. Maybe as a take-home message, an informed use of social media monitoring tools can enable indeed a better understanding of the ground reality and make timely decisions. But of course, we need to be always aware of the context and also the quality issues in the data. I think I did it in 15 minutes. Thank you for your attention. If you want to reach out, yeah, it is my email and Manon's email. She will jump in the question Q&A part if you have any project-related questions. Thank you. Myself. Please feel free to share in the chat if you have any question.
So by the time we have questions, maybe I can add on my side that we try to extend the social media coverage by looking at Facebook or Instagram, but it was difficult to see data on weapons due to censorship. So Twitter was the best platform to do it. So we have a first question from David Gianluca. Thanks for the presentation. How do you deal with current Twitter API limitations?
I knew this would come. So there are two options. Either you stop working with Twitter data or essentially you pay. Luckily, we try to expand the tools we develop for this project in other countries where with the small arms survey, we would like to get information about small arms and light weapons, but we cannot access all the regions. One is Afghanistan, or we have also the Caribbean region. So we are trying to pull in resources from all different projects to, alas, pay.
And from Maria, is it possible to share the PPT with my colleagues who did not attend? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. This is why it's so text heavy. Just feel free, if you shoot me an email, I can send you everything.
I put the email of Gianluca in the chat if you want to send him an email, Maria. Great. From Laurie, thanks for the presentation. Can you tell us a little bit more about your work on other countries and how this may be able to be replicated or not? Gianluca, from your experience with the Caribbean, for instance.
Yeah, this is really interesting. We realize that the kind of platform you are monitoring, it depends by country. On Twitter was very good for Afghanistan, but we realized, for instance, in the Caribbean region that Facebook is the main platform to share information. So what we will do for the Caribbean is to mostly use Facebook data and also the data from a national newspaper. For what is Ukraine, we realized that Telegram or Facebook would be better. Of course, it's not me deciding. We are in consultation with local partners. So we decide to focus more on this aspect of social media. I guess there is not a measure like that fits all, but we always need to be aware of the context.
Thanks, Gianluca. From Rob, what kind of overarching trends can you gather that you are confident in from the dashboard, considering the small number of accounts being monitored?
Definitely. So what we are trying to do, and I forgot to mention it in probably the limitation of the work, we are not aiming at finding trends that we can generalize, but looking for specific patterns of interest. And this is for support research on the field. An example, we had a team on the field at the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, and they mentioned seizure of a specific type of weapon. Now I don't remember the name. And I could find a reference to it in a social media post pretty much around the same time of the survey, together with pictures. And in this picture, you could see the markings. So this would bring us additional information on where the weapon comes from, and probably try to think of where this should end up.
And from Helez, is it possible that you will work one day about Syria and the Syrian context?
At this stage, I'm not sure what will be next, but of course, I think the advantage of these kind of tools that you can develop and build on them in different countries and contexts. Now, this for us, Afghanistan was the first time we really thought about using social media to improve the data we could collect on the field. And this will be more and more mainstream in the kind of work we do.
Maybe to complement what Gianluca said, it's not only about finding trends, but also having a glimpse of the issue that could be searched for researcher in the field or even practitioners, because as Gianluca said, we shared it for testing internally with our partners who are active in the region and who use the tool, for instance, to see the number of seizures from the Taliban government, but also could be useful when you're doing a news monitoring as part of your project, if you want to look at the attacks or specific markets. You can also have a glimpse of that in the dashboard. So we still have some time left for the question, if needed. Okay, from Sophie, a couple of technical questions. How did you identify sources on Twitter? And what type of account were you using? And did you follow them or just check on them regularly?
One of our experts in small arms is extremely active on Twitter, and we rely on his knowledge of the Twittersphere for what is Afghanistan. We also had a chat with our local partners about the kind of social media platform that are mostly used. What we really wanted to do, though, was to try to find reliable social media accounts. So we decided to follow what is official in the country, so everything that is related to the Taliban government. We also use we also followed expert researchers in small arms and ammunition in the area, and news outlets. I think we selected two that were from our previous experience, they would post a lot about the country, and especially about small arms and ammunition and light weapons too. How do we deal with language question? Yes. So as part of the data collection tool, we have an automated translation. From what I could see, tweets were in at least 2, 3, 4 different languages other than English. That's why we, together with the text in the original language, we always have a translation. This is done automatically, of course. Like we use the Google Translate API for this.
And just to go back to Sophie's question, the second one was for the accounts. Did you follow them or just check on them regularly?
So yes, this is one of our main researchers that is following them regularly. I check from time to time, but I'm mostly looking at the data that is collected through the dashboard, because the advantage over Twitter that you have everything in one place and you can easily search, filter the information in a better way, let's say.
Yeah, the dashboard is automatically gonna collect the data. From David, have you tried to integrate new open source social listening tools? And why
Yeah,
open source?
yeah, thank you for that. No, not really. Yeah, thanks. So at the very beginning, with this project, particularly, we try to keep it simple and focus on a set of social media accounts that were deemed relevant. Now, as I mentioned, like in other projects, we are building on what we developed in this Afghanistan context. So we're very open, and I will check if we can implement other open social listening tools. What I forgot to mention is that, contrary to the previous presentation, I'm working in R, so everything is automated using GitHub Actions, R, and Shiny apps dashboard. So it's a different kind of working environment, and I will need to see what is possible really. We have 2 minutes left. Last burning questions. And yeah, again, if you have, I can just copy paste my email address here. So that if you have any question or follow up, or you're interested in testing it, just reach out. Thank you then. So I guess we're almost there. Yeah, thank you for joining, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you
Bye.
everyone for attending.